Today we are shooting with the 18-300 Tamron DX lens. This is their newest DX offering and we've popped it on the Z50 Mark II.
It's all-in-one and covers all the ranges in the world, and we're going to test it out and we're going to tell you all about this.
So let's go.
Let's roll. All right, here's Becky in some fashion pose.
So I have Kon in the frame. Here we go. And then I'm just going to go slightly to the left and we're going to zoom. And we're going to zoom. This is about 100 mil. This is 200 mil. Look at the stabilization as well. So that's these little footballers. This is at 300 mil, which is obviously the equivalent of about 450. And then just, sorry for my not very smooth camera motion here. But look at that. And then we're back to Kon.
Yeah, is it good?
It's good. It's very impressive. I am obviously hand holding at 300 mil, and okay, I don't have the steadiest hands and I'm really cold, but it's holding the sheep still and in frame and doing a really nice job for video. So if you were ever wondering if you can use this lens for video, the answer is yes.
And keep in mind that none of the Z DX cameras currently have vibration reduction on the sensor, so having the vibration reduction on the lens helps enormously. All right, let's talk about technical specifications a little bit because you love it so much and I just read them on the Tamron website. So let's start with the weight. It's 635 grams, which is not too bad. I think anything under 700 grams is manageable, and the camera is fairly small and light like ZFC and Z50 Mark II, so you should be fine. All right, let's take a breath and talk about close focusing distance. So you got 15 centimeters at wide angle, which gives you a reproduction rate of 1 to 2. So do you prove this, Becky? Is it good or not?
This is Becky approved.
Yay! At the longer focal distance, so at 300 mil, it's 1 meter close focusing distance, which is reasonable at 300 mil. You can still get your close-ups if you want, but it's a 1 to 4 reproduction ratio. Remember that.
We're pretty good with that. That's okay.
Exactly. Now, it's 19 elements in 15 groups, whatever that means. What's more important to me is how many diaphragms blades we have in the lens, because that creates our bubblicious bokeh, the rounded bubbles behind the subject. So this one's got 7 blades, which is a bit of a boo for me.
This is how we're going to do all of our reviews now.
Anything I think below 9 is no bueno, but 11 plus is
bueno.
Fantastic. Hello and welcome to Trains, Planes and Automobiles with Kon. What I've done now is I took a picture of that train that passed now, and it's already somewhere in Los Angeles, but what I've noticed is that autofocus is really good on that. It goes pretty fast from close focusing to infinity and everything in the middle, and I'm using full auto area with the subject detection effectively. So I'm not using single focusing point or anything. The camera is basically having a full workout right now, and the lens performs really well. So obviously it's not going to perform as well as 300 prime or 600 prime, you know, those type of sports wildlife lenses, but for the consumer lens, autofocus performance is fantastic.
All right, Kon is going to take a picture of me and I am going to pretend to be portraitable.
All right, so we're just gonna take a quick shot. So that's at basically 120 mil focal distance at whatever the widest aperture right now, which is f6. And the bokeh, obviously, with everything being miles away from Becky, it looks pretty bokeh-licious, but let's try it in a different setting and find out what's gonna happen. Here at Grays Westminster headquarters, we do some scientific tests. One of the tests we call portrait test, and we've just done one with a background further away from Becky, but now there's a tree behind Becky and it's about 5 meters away. I'm gonna shoot at, let's see, so I'm at about 100 mil, which is equivalent of 150. There's no point of shooting at 300 mil portraits. I mean, it's too much, right? So 100 should give me a good portrait focal distance. Let's have a look at 5.6. Bokeh looks reasonable. It's not your 1.4 lens, of course, but at that distance, pretty good. I think you're gonna have an issue when you start to shoot, let's say, at 50, which would be equivalent of 75. That's where the bokeh is going to be a little bit busier, not as nice on a dedicated portrait lens. But again, it's all-rounder, so performance for all-rounder is acceptable in my opinion.
Okay, so I've got this little berry, about the closest focusing distance. See if I have actually held the camera still. I have. Ooh, sharpness, very nice. Bokeh is actually very decent. Okay, let's see how much closer I can get. So, you know, if I was looking for a lens that would balance really, really nicely on my DX camera, whether that was a Z50, a 50 Mark II, or a ZFC, for example, or even a Z30, although it will be a little bit top heavy on that, it's really nicely balanced. It's the kind of lens that you can quite literally just throw on and forget. You don't have to change your lens multiple times in the day. You've got everything built into one, and to be honest, the image quality is really, really good. For an all-in-one lens, super impressed. Bokeh is very decent. Autofocus speed is very, very fast, and that VR makes a huge difference. I don't know about anyone else, but shooting with long telephoto lenses, the thought of doing that on a body that doesn't have a built-in image stabilization is a little bit worrying. So the fact that the lens has it built in is perfect. Now I'm gonna do a nice wide shot of this tree, and then I'm gonna zoom right in and do just a single leaf. And that, to me, demonstrates just the versatility of a focal length like this.
Here we are in England, hiding from the sun. Who needs ND filter? But we've done some tests, and we're going to talk about chromatic aberrations first of all. So they're well controlled. You can get them if you're going to shoot some metallic objects, but overall they are pretty unnoticeable, I would say. In terms of vignetting, you'll get vignetting anything from, let's say, 18 to 100 mm focal distance. Wide open is quite noticeable. Anything over 100 to 300, barely noticeable. But even then, if you're shooting a wide angle, then you can stop it down by a couple of stops and it completely disappears.
So,
all right, who is this lens for, Becky?
I would say enthusiasts who have a DX camera or are planning to buy into a DX system and really just want one lens to travel around with them everywhere. If you're going on holiday, if you're taking a city break, if you're doing your first safari and you don't want to spend thousands of pounds on a big lens and you're buying a DX system, then this is a great option for you.
Yeah, the good old days of buying your first DSLR, something like D3000 to D7000 series cameras, and looking to get all-in-one lens. That's what it's all about. Size-wise, okay, maybe it's a little bit bigger than 18 to 300 Nikon F mount lens that they had, but keep in mind that if you're going to put this lens on this body, you will need FTZ adapter, and that will make it bigger. Autofocus is not going to be good as well. So overall, I think if you are looking at your first Nikon Z camera and you don't want to go full frame, combo like ZFC or Z50 with 18 to 300 lens is a good starting point. Of course, you can also have a look at 16 to 50 and 50 to 50 lenses that Nikon sell it. But there you have this kind of common issue that we discussed. Like, is it better to have two lenses that cover the same range or one? Well, to have one lens is a convenience, first of all. The two lenses, obviously, they probably will do a job better. 16 to 50 is a lot more compact. 50 to 50 is about the same size, but you will need to change them all the time. And at this point, you as a photographer need to make a decision. Do I want one lens or do I want both of them? Price-wise, it's about £599, which sits kind of between the old price of compact 18-300 Nikon lens and the big 18-300 that they also had. So overall, I think it's a reasonably priced for a DX lens.
Absolutely. And I think that if you're going to be out there shooting, let's say all day, you have your camera with you, then this is the kind of lens that you put on and you forget about, essentially. It's on you all the time, and you can do everything from close-ups and portraits to landscapes to telephoto, you name it, you can do it. So I think for the price point, size, weight and everything, it's a really good option. That's our answer.
I agree.
Okay, good.
The answer is nice.
It's in your heart. It's
nice.
In
your heart.
It's in your soul. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video.
Give us a like and subscribe, and if you found this video super useful, there's super thanks button as well.
And thank you very much for 30k subscribers.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop.